morning. Tuesday. Yeah. Here we are at Tuesday. Warmer today, right? Actually kind of crazy warm for the end of October, but there you go. Still have time to get painting done, so I'm happy. Although I have to say, I feel like I'm getting very small amounts of work done. But that's that's kind of how we do things, right? Small things, steadily, right? When the construction was going on the porch, I would do small things during the week, and then on the weekends when I had my husband to help, we'd do some of the bigger things that needed two people, to hold on to things or to lift things, that sort of stuff. So it was more. I felt like it was larger chunks of something getting done, and then smaller things when it was just me. And that's something to think about, that it is doing things on your own is good, but if you can get help, there are things you need help with, you're going to make more progress if you reach out and get some help. And ask people, for a hand. So keep that in mind, right? It can really be helpful. It can keep you on your on track instead of kind of struggling. Good morning, Deb, and good morning, Ruth. So yeah, getting help, reaching for help. It can be hard, right? It can feel very hard, especially if you're a person who's used to doing most of your things by yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Being self-sufficient is great, and we all want to kind of work towards a good level of self-sufficiency. And when we, that's kind of part of our yoga, is this idea that we are. Good morning, Dora. That we are enough, right? That we don't need to rely on other people for their opinion or their approval. That internal, if we're looking internally, then we aren't looking externally for this approval and this direction, right? We are listening to our own heart, and we're knowing what is going to work for us. Yoga is also very clear about this need to be self-supporting, right? So being able to take care of ourselves in a material sense, not really being dependent on other people and other things for that. Because again, you then are kind of beholden to them, right? You are not just dependent on them in terms of, like physical well-being, but also, you're naturally going to become sort of dependent on them for their, their plan and their opinion and their all of these things. And again, when you have outward direction and outward pressure, it's become so much harder to listen within, right? We're getting maybe conflicting messages, and we don't want that. So that's something I always thought was very interesting and nice about yoga, is that it really stresses that need to support yourself, to be able to chart your own path in life. Um, Not in a very, abstract way. Not like, oh, you should just do your own thing, but you should literally do your own thing. And you should lay the groundwork to be able to, materially provide for yourself, which I think is great. I think a lot of times philosophies sort of skip over that part and kind of just think, oh, well, everyone will just figure that out for themselves, or everyone else is independently wealthy, so don't worry about it. Um, but yoga knows that that is a big concern for people, and it can, really become more so. So the less control you have over that, the more of a concern it will be. Um, so taking that back, if you feel like you don't have control of that, is important. Um, but all of those things, we talk about all of these things being very self-supporting, self-sufficient, very good, but we have to know when we're beyond our abilities, right? So that's really the knowledge, where the knowledge and discernment comes in. When we need help, we need to reach out for it. Um, Part of being connected here on earth is that we have the ability to help others and to also accept help from others. And for many of us, that's the hardest thing of all. It's the idea of uh, people that love to give gifts but are terrible at receiving them. And I know people like this. Maybe you are people like this. But that person who loves to come up with a great gift for someone, but then when you try to do something nice for them, they're very uncomfortable with it. They're very ungracious in receiving that gift. Um, so that's important. It's important to understand that as much as we like to help, and it really helps you to give to others, right? Um, and not, I mean, sometimes people think it's like sort of a karmic way, right? You can get good karma by giving gifts and helping others, and you can, right? I mean, that's not really the point. The point is that uh, by giving, um, we actually understand how to receive, if that makes sense. Um, it's a There's a grace to it. There is an acceptance. And so if you have a person who loves to gift, but will never really receive gifts, won't receive help, won't let anyone do anything for them, there's frequently an element of pride there, right? And um, pride is can be a very damaging sort of emotion or sentiment, or kind of way to hold yourself. So in Christianity, we say, pride goeth before a fall, right? And pride, it goeth before a lot of bad things. Pride is a false sense of importance, right? Um, People who feel very prideful frequently actually feel very bad, very lacking within. They, again, are telling themselves a story that they don't believe. People who are appropriately prideful, right? And there's nothing wrong with having a certain amount of pride in the things you've accomplished, right? It's good. Give yourself a pat on the back. But again, that's people who feel that way, it's an internal thing, right? They don't project that out to the world. It is a confidence that they have in the way they live their life, which is very appropriate. When we are projecting it so much that other people are seeing it, we may be going a little overboard. And again, take a look at that. Why? Why are you projecting? And in many things, we can look at this. What are we projecting out into the world? Frequently, the things that we are trying to portray ourselves as to other people, if we are doing so, are the places where we feel the most efficient. Right? It reminds me of those little animals who puff up to try to scare off a predator. Right? They're trying to make themselves bigger and more scary than they really are because they don't have much in the way of defenses or ability to defend themselves. Um, we don't need to do that, right? A little puffy frog who can be eaten by every thing that comes by. Maybe they really do need to do that, but we don't need to do that. We need to be honest with ourselves. And again, where we are doing these things, it can give us clues. Not just it can also give us clues. I mean, we're frequently better at seeing this in other people than in ourselves, right? So when you see someone else doing it, that can give you a clue about what's going on with them. And the same for yourself, right? So when you see that, you may go, oh, yeah, okay, I get what they're doing. Hey, I've done this too. I'm doing this now in this area, in this area. So getting to know ourselves, getting to know our patterns and our ways of behaving is kind of a lifelong process. It doesn't happen all at once. It takes some time. And one by one, I think, again, like I love this example, this metaphor of a garden, right? That our life and our everything is kind of a garden. In a garden, nothing is ever finished. There's always more to do. You may spend a lot of time working on that garden and it looks beautiful. And then in 2 days, there's weeds popping up over there. And you take care of that. And then there's weeds over here. So we're never done. There'll always be something more for us to pull out and tend and take care of. But we get smarter, right? I've often, why do people get into gardening the older they get, right? I mean, you notice that a lot of older people are very fond of gardening. And I think it's a combination of things. But I think part of it is they have learned so much, right? They are frustrated. They've gotten frustrated. They've had failures. They've done this and that, but they learn. And so their gardens look pretty good. They've made all those mistakes as a younger person. And now they kind of know how to tend a garden. They know what they have to do. They know how often they have to do it. And they do a pretty good job. So, working on our garden. And something that I think is very important about gardens is you can get help from other people. My neighbor frequently deals with the area where my yard joins up with his, because I'm not a very careful gardener. I have kind of a wild space, and they have a very manicured space. But we don't fight about it. They just take care of what they think they need to take care of. Where my lawn, or my yard comes up to theirs, and I'm fine with that, because we have a we have a compromise. We can compromise about how this works. Um, so that's kind of how it works. If you need help with something, or if you have someone who's near you and their garden isn't the same as yours, you still have to figure out a way to be neighbors, to get along. Um, and, you know, it takes a little compromise. It takes a little of each person changing, so that your gardens can all coexist with one another. Okay, so as we move through practice, think about ways that you can help, and accept help. Think about not trying to be everything. We don't have to be. We can be just who we are, and we could specialize in that. Um, and when we need help, we can get that. All right, so sitting up tall. Fix my mat right now instead of later. Relax the shoulders. Take a breath and then chin down toward the chest. Let the head hang down. And then we're moving around. One way and the other. Take a breath and then lean forward and move around the body. One direction and then the other. Back up to your seat, arms wide. Take a deep breath and then exhale, hands together in the front. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers, lift the hands, gaze up. And then arms down by your side. Inhale, lift. And lower. Lift. And lower. Once more, lifting up. Bring the right hand down, reach across. And then switch the arms, reaching over to the side again. Back up, lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Walk the hands out. And then hands slightly behind you, fingertips pointing away, squeeze back with the shoulders, gaze up. And then back to your seat. Left hand on right knee, right arm behind you, sit up tall, take a breath, and then twisting back to center, moving to the other side. And then back to center. Tabletop. Moving a few sets of cat-cow here. Just loosening out through the spine. Inhales and exhales. Back to neutral here, and then sitting on the heels. Child's pose. Let's bring the hands by your side. Moving into rabbit. So hands are by your side. We're going to tuck the chin so that the crown of the head, this very top part of the head, is resting lightly on the mat if possible. If that doesn't quite work for you, then just get as close as you can. Hands by the side, reaching back for the heels or the ankles. You could tuck the fingers kind of under. We just want something to kind of hold on to here. And this kind of acts as our brake, right? We're going to tuck the chin, and then we're lifting up the hips so that there's a little weight resting on the top of the head. And then coming back down, let's bring the hands out in front again. Bring the knees wider on the mat. Moving back up. Into tabletop. Let's swing the right leg around. Up to your, I don't know, standing on one knee, I guess. Arms overhead. Let's lean back a little. And then hands to center. Deep breath. Moving to the right. Hook the elbow if you like. Or staying more upright. Pulling that right shoulder back for a twist. Coming back to center. We're going to bring the right hand down by the foot. Bringing that left arm high. Left hand down, more toward the edge of the mat, maybe. Right arm lifts. And then we've got both hands down to the mat, moving into sort of a lizard, baby lizard, maybe. From here, you can walk the foot across. Pulling that foot in closer to the body as much as you need to make this possible. And if this isn't good for you, you can stay in lizard, or you could do supine pigeon, which is, laying on your back, drawing this leg in close that way. Let's move back up. We're going to plant the hands here, flip the back foot, and then we're lifting up. Three-legged dog. Set your foot down. Coming forward, high plank, and then drop the knees. And we're back in tabletop, then child's pose. Coming back up, swing the left leg around. Arms overhead, lean back. Hands to center, take a breath, and then moving to the left. Back to center. Left hand down by the foot, right arm lifts. Right hand down, sort of the edge of the mat. Left arm lifts. And then both hands to the floor. For pigeon, or a lizard first lizard. And then walking the foot across, we will find our position here. Whatever kind of pigeon we want to do. Breathe. Making your way back up. Planting the hands. Flipping that back foot. Lifting up. Three-legged dog. And then setting both feet down. Let's walk the feet up a little and down to a seat. Soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall. Take a deep breath and then lean forward here. Back up, both legs out in front. Bring the arms up overhead, deep breath. Fold forward. Back up. Bring the legs wide. Toes up. Deep breath in, and then we can walk the hands out if we want in front here, or walk them down the legs. Again, just leaning forward. Think about pulling the shoulders back, leading with the chest, hinging from the hips. So we have that nice flat back. Back up. Bring the legs a bit closer here, and then right foot in close to that left leg. Turn the body. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Walk your hands back up. Switch your legs. Turning the body. Inhale, and then fold on the exhale. Walk the hands back up. Both legs out straight. Deep breath in, fold forward. Moving back up, let's point and flex the feet. circles one way, and then the other way. Okay. Bend the knees. We're going to lower down. Resting on the mat. Get comfortable. Bring the right knee in. Hug it in close to the body. And then we're going to start lowering that right knee out to the side. Breathe. Then bring back to center. We're going to draw it across the body. So rolling up on that left hip. You can do goalpost arms or arms to a T, whatever you want to do. Moving back. Extend the right leg. Hugging the left leg in close. Lowering the left knee out to the side. Back to center and then across the body, rolling up on the right hip. Keep breathing. And then moving back, let's extend both legs. Relax. Maybe 5-pointed star here, arms out to a T, legs a little wider on the mat. Bring everything back to center. We're going to bend the knees. Soles of the feet to the mat. I've got a block, so I'm going to do supported bridge. You can do regular bridge or supported bridge. Thing up. You find a place for the block. Take a few breaths. And then removing the block, if you have one. Soles of the feet together. Bring the arms by the side or wherever you want to put them. Breathe and relax. And then moving into Shavasana here. So you can keep soles together, knees apart, or you could just extend the legs long. Whatever feels best for you today. Letting the body kind of sink down into the mat, relaxing. Steady breath. Noticing anywhere there may be a bit of tension. Releasing that. So when we are working on our garden, that internal garden that we are cultivating, all of the same things apply, right? Doing a little bit every day is going to get you better results than killing yourself on it once a week. Taking care of problems as they begin instead of waiting for them to really take root, right? And spread. Seeing things how they are, right? I mean, you can look at your garden and imagine that it's beautiful. But if it's covered with weeds and um, trash and all kinds of different things, um, you've got to see it, right? You can't pretend that it's something that it's not. And just like a garden, when you put in a little time and effort, it really pays off. You will appreciate the difference in how things look and how much you enjoy being there. And it's the same thing internally, right? Um, the more we know about that, the more we want to know. The less we fear. You know, there's a lot of fear when we have unknown spaces and things we're not sure about. We imagine the worst. We always imagine the worst. But as with most things, it's not as bad as you imagine it to be. Um, there is a solution, there is a path. We just have to get on the path. Um, and we might have to get out a machete and cut our way through to the path. Um, but there is something within there to move us forward. Um, we just have to start taking the steps. When we stay still and sort of cover our eyes, pretend that everything's fine, we don't have to do anything, you assume that it's okay or whatever. Um, Again, we're avoiding the truth. Um, so always seek that truth, even if it looks hard or difficult. Um, you can get there. You don't have to get there today. You can take some steps today. You can maybe get some help. Ask for a hand. Maybe there's somebody who can give you some information that will get you closer. Maybe someone else has gone through this and they can give you some suggestions. Don't feel like you're in this alone. At the very least, you've got that self, right? That strength, that internal um, guidance, really. Um, and that will help you along, always. Moving a little then, fingers and toes, hands and feet. If you want to stretch, you can. And then making your way up to a seat. Hands together, breath in and out. Thank you for taking some time for yoga today, for sharing it with me and with everyone here virtually. I hope you have a really good Tuesday. And namaste. Thank you. Have a good Tuesday. Warmer weather. So I was looking at the weather app yesterday, and I saw something I've never seen before, which was little wavy lines for tomorrow, and it just said fog. That was it. So all day it's just going to be fog, apparently. So much fog that it looks like little wavy gray lines all day long. Maybe. Who knows? Anything could happen this year. I have come to that conclusion. Anything at all. All right. Moving into meditation. Finding a comfortable seat. Nice and upright with the body. Close the eyes. Getting just a natural breath. Finding the focus. And breathe. Okay. Coming back to regular stuff. Here we are. Hi, Gwen. I didn't see you come in. All right, so we're done. Yoga, meditation, 2 things off your list for the day. And then I'll be back tomorrow. We'll see if we have big fog or not. Who knows? And I hope you have a good Tuesday. I'm trying to get some painting done. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I hope you have a nice, peaceful or productive day, whatever you choose. See you tomorrow.